Hi there, my name's Mike, and I'm one of the co-founders here at Riddle. And in this video, I'm going to give you an in-depth demonstration on how to use our really sophisticated personality test module to create powerful product recommendations, assessments, and other engagement tools for your audience. Now, we're going to use a personality test I've already created around what's your management style. Now, in this example, you're going to see that we have with Riddle now not just a single set of results, which you might have seen in other quiz makers, but we also have a second level of analysis called attributes. So in this management style quiz, we have, are you a collaborative manager, authoritarian, or mentoring? So those are your three top level results. But we also add attributes. Now, attributes are really interesting because they are independent of the personality results. So you're a collaborative manager, but these are 4 characteristics that you can find out more about how that applies to you just as a manager in general. How organized are you? How responsible? How decisive? How proactive? So at the end, it might be like, hey, you're a collaborative manager, you're 53% organized, 72% responsible, and so on. Now, we also going to get more detail. So if you want to really craft some compelling assessments or product recommendations, you can do several things. We also give you what we call low, medium, or high results. And so if we have what we call a winning result, so if this result is the highest scoring result, they're going to see this text and image. However, what if you're showing other results to the user? So their main result, but oh, by the way, this is how you scored in the other results. You can craft these different variants. So if someone got, let's call it 73% as a collaborative manager, but that still wasn't their top manager, personality result, I could show them, say, well, you are somewhat collaborative, and here's some text. If they scored very poorly in that, collaborative did not apply to them, I was like, okay, you're not very collaborative, and here's why. So you can do this for each of the personalities, but also for each of the attributes. So at the end of the quiz, based on each person's score, you can say, okay, well, your winning result is this. For these other results and other attributes, did you get the low, medium, or high? And you'll see here, this is where you adjust scores. This is where you add ranges. Okay, let's dive into the attributes. Attributes are very similar to personality results. We have a title, we have images or videos and things like that. The descriptions probably will tend to be a bit shorter, but that's just more of a style guide. You'll see in this case, we have not used the low, medium, or high results. We're just going to keep this pretty straightforward. Now that we have our 3 results and our 4 attributes, let's go into scoring. And this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. This is where your quiz questions come to life and actually apply to results. So let's talk about this first question. In this case, it's, you'll be leading the quarterly company meeting. You plan on. So this is a hypothetical, and there are 3 options. Utilize group brainstorming activities, change strategy based on progress, or update everybody on the company's state of affairs. Now these are 3 options. You're like, okay, well, how does that apply to my results? I'm going to click on either this little brain icon or edit scoring. And this little scoring modal pop-up comes up. And this is where you get to apply points. Now, with Riddle, the more points you put down, the greater the affinity or the greater the resonance that answer applies to a particular result. So if someone says, hey, utilizing group brainstorming activities, that is the very definition of a collaborative manager, because it's like, okay, let's get everyone together, get their thoughts, get their feedback. So I gave 20 points, which is a lot. That does not apply to authoritarian, so I gave 0 points for that. And maybe mentoring might be 10 or 15 points. And then whereas changing strategy based on progress, that's more of a decisive authoritarian option, so I gave 15 points, and so on. A little tip. We give you a counter here to see how the overall scores are going, and try and keep these balanced, because if this, hypothetically, if I gave 20 points here, this would now be 45 to 30 to 35. Odds are very good that as people start taking these quizzes, if all of your questions have this imbalance towards collaborative, that means they're going to be far more likely to get collaborative as their option. So what you really want to do is have the answers be pretty even in terms of scoring. So we have 30, 30, 35. Maybe I should take 5 points away here to make it balanced. Attributes work the same way. You assign points based on each answer applying to each attribute. Once that scoring's all done, then you'll want to go into settings. And this is where we love to give you options with Riddle. We have a results personality section and we have a results attribute section. Now in the personalities section, we have two different scoring methods. The default is total points achieved across all personalities. We'll cover this in a separate blog post, but you can try and experiment with each of these two options. The next option is like, well, how do I want to display my results? Do I want to percentage plus title, maybe just the title? Maybe I want points. So lots of different options there. And then this is a neat feature we added based on our community's feedback of like, hey, we want to show the other results too. So I'm going to show other results and I'm going to show again what format and so on. So really cool that way. You can also introduce the other titles or the other section this way. Attributes, similar concept. How many attributes do you want to show? How do you want to show them in columns and so on? But let's take a look at how this results will look for you. Okay, so I've gone through and answered most of the questions, and now I am going to click on here, and I got the final results. So my overall winning result is, hey, I'm an authoritarian manager. Here's some explanation why. Here's that introduction to the other results, saying, well, not very mentoring. This is showing that low result copy from mentoring, saying, okay, well, this is the low version. And then not very collaborative, 15%, also very low. And now we're going to see down here, we're going to see attributes. You're like, okay, well, I got a 37% for decisive, 32% for organized, and so on. I'm going to leave you briefly with this, but you'll see here, these all add up to 100%, and this has to do with the types of scoring. So if I chose this, for example, the max possible point for each person is like, you might have 100 points possible for decisive and only 50 points possible for organized. But if I got 45 for organized, that would be 90-something%, whereas decisive would be 45%, 45 out of 100. So that's one way to calculate it. The default is saying, well, let's calculate all the points for all the attributes and break it into, and just break it down that way. So you'll see here, this all adds up to 100%. So these are the two models. We're going to explain this in a further blog post, but that is our personality test. That's our scoring. If you have any questions on how to use personality tests for, again, product recommendations, assessments, coaching, consulting, or just really compelling, engaging entertainment content, let us know on our support chat. We love to help out. All right. Thanks so much and happy riddling.